Hello, everyone, and welcome to Patriot Crusader Mission Strength and Honor Edition. It's Friday. You made it. I've been raging all week.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. Despite having to reinvent our entire system multiple times today for a remote trip, but that's all right. It's Friday. It's Strength and Honor, and it's time to get it on. Charge. Wait.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So let us know who's here. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Thanks for watching today over on the Hope Report as well. And I know we get some other creepers on here.
Diana, did you make it back? You surfaced our
attempt
number 2. We are we have our women's self-defense course tomorrow, and part of that plan is to have the webinar for the people who are doing remote. Hey, Shay.
Whoa, there's a ghost from the past.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So Jason's been having to figure out the tech part, all of the stuff, and he's been having to kind of break down equipment, which then, of course, made firing up Strength and Honor a little clunky.
A little clunky.
Hi, Steve.
What up, Steve?
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So I don't know if you guys have, Jay, you haven't been around to see me just go scorched earth this week.
He's been on fire.
Yeah, I really.
Shay, where have you been?
Yeah, I really.
Hey, Scott.
Went thermonuclear today on Instagram.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Who else?
We got more peeps coming on. So, man, I got some insider info today about all these Afghan refugees that everybody is talking about so much.
Oh, yeah?
What up? What up?
Hi, John.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who literally lives a mile from the gate or less than a mile from the gate of the base they're on.
In which?
Don't want to say because I don't want to make him. Don't want to incriminate him.
Claudia,
what's
and
up, Claudia?
John? Okay, double.
Strength and honor. 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 Strength and honor.
Said the police have already had to respond to multiple gang rapes of a 13-year-old. And Biden and the Biden administration saying that's just their culture because they're Afghanis. They're just letting them do it.
That's their culture.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome the animals to the show.
That's awful. Yeah, I was seeing, that they could just get like Uber rides off location.
And there's tons of crime and breaking in, stealing, everything. Property values are tanking already. It's like, and they're going to be there 3 years.
They're being housed on the base area for 3 years.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, okay.
Great stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. Absolute. S show.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and if that violence is happening week 1, what's it going to turn into when they really get comfortable?
Yeah,
Brandy, hello.
Go thermonuclear in China.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So Shay is hearing similar.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Why there's this, if you weren't directly working with us, if you're a male and you're directly working with us, fine. Come over here. But we should have got every female out of that country and every child out of that country before we got any fighting age male out of there. Yeah.
It was very interesting. Certainly the fact that there was Americans turned away while there were plane loads of Afghanis on the, just backwards in itself, male or female. To not get Americans out first.
All of our Democrat family members, I don't have any friends that are Democrats anymore, but all of our Democrat family members, they're to thank for this as much as the dummy in office. They're the ones stupid enough to vote for this guy. Like, if there was a retard award, they should get it. That's an insult to people with Down syndrome, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And my
It's
brother
not-
had Down syndrome, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Pick a different word that's not going to insult an undeserving group of people.
Yeah. just insanity, laziness, stupidity. Oh, it reminds me of the conference I was just at.
Have at it. Have at it.
No, I think I've ranted and raved on that quite enough. Yep.
Scott, open invasion. They have 20 years of revenge built up. Our cities better be ready. Heck, we all better be ready. Yeah.
We're ready.
Yes.
Our Democrat brothers and sisters are not, though. They'll be the first ones to get it. And then they'll be like, oh, take away guns. Oh, take away vehicles. Oh, take away kitchen knives. Oh, we're all cutting forks or cutting steaks with sporks like they do over in England. Because that was really effective.
Do you think there's going to be anything, being that it's a pretty significant anniversary tomorrow?
It's possible.
Or do you think that they would hold their cards close for a little while longer?
It's possible. Yeah, they are still watching mainstream media. Which just, I mean, why wouldn't you at least be curious?
Yeah.
Like, how could you not? Right? I understand not watching if a conservative's in office. I understand if you're not a fan of that guy, watching the opponents, liberal media, watching them tear them apart. But I cannot, why wouldn't you want to see what the critics are saying about the candidate that you voted for? Like, why wouldn't you want to know all the dirt?
Because it makes people very uncomfortable. Hi, Misty C. It's been a while since you've been
welcome
on.
back. I hope.
Cheers to you.
Yep.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So tomorrow, everyone, have your head on a swivel, like all days. Always be aware of your surroundings. Always have a plan. Yeah, you're right, Michelle. They don't care. They put their head in the sand. They got rid of that.
Cognitive dissonance is a very uncomfortable state to be in.
Yeah.
And they don't want to invite it upon themselves.
They don't want to get red pilled.
So.
Because then they're accountable for what they did. Instead, it's just not his fault. Still Trump's fault, right? We're going to be hearing about it. Still Trump's fault for the next 14 years.
Oh, at least.
At least. They won't even remember his name. They'll just be Orange Man.
Remember that Orange Man?
Yep. So I'm really convinced, guys, that we're under 10 years, 5 to 10 years from splitting into the East Coast, the West Coast, and the South Coast.
Or as Candace Owens, I think it was, she made a kind of a sarcastic tweet or whatever it was about letting the liberal states go do their thing and calling them the United Freaks of America.
Yeah. I'm all for letting them go. I'm letting get out while you can. We've been saying it for over a year now. And they're not hearing anything because you're right. They are covering it up. I mean, there's literally 3, 4, maybe 5 news sources out there that are actually covering this, being OAN, Newsmax, Fox, the Epic Times, and the Washington Post.
As the primary ones, yeah, I would say.
Oh, sorry, the New York Post, not the Washington Post. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I don't think counties are going to be able to break away from blue states. They just don't have the authority. But I definitely think that, we're going to see, deep red states peel away here, depending on, this might be the first straw. This whole executive order with him trying to go around governors and trying to take state power. it's a pretty bold move. Of course, the liberal media, who was like went off on Trump for trying to do something different. But here, nope, not so much. Biden's just awesome.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
so
saw
canny going for that. The OSHA workaround. He's brilliant. Like that guy even knew the word OSHA.
Well, I mean, and I can't remember. Was it which shows they were talking about? They were showing clips about how it's not nearly far enough that all of these commentators and stuff they were wanting it to go to the extent of what we were talking about yesterday. Travel restrictions, can't fly without it, can't public interstate travel done if you don't have it. People were literally thinking that he should have gone to that level of it. They would have applauded that.
Well, people understand. Like, let's talk about what this doctor is refusing to treat. There was an article that someone who calls himself a Christian conservative. I don't know if he is really anymore. He's something in the middle, but he's a never Trumper who thought he could not vote for Trump, which is basically a vote for Biden, and still, I don't know, just somebody who considers themselves so smart that they outsmart themselves in their effectiveness to do anything really. So there's a doctor in an article that was written. I can't remember where. I want to say it was like NBC News, of course.
Yeah, I don't recall.
And saying that he's making a case that he doesn't have to treat non-jabbed people with the bug, and I said, you don't want to go down this route. They're saying that the way they justified it is if there was one bed, and if not one bed, there was only resources for one person, then the person with the most likely survival rate would be the jabbed person, the jab bug person. Yeah. He should get the bed.
Yep.
And I said, well, if you want to use that logic, let's go right down the line. All overdoses gone.
Yeah, anyone who brought it upon themselves.
Anyone who smokes doesn't get ICU or any of that stuff. Anybody who's overweight doesn't get anything. Mm-hmm. Anyone who, any type of suicide, any type of negligent thing. You were out riding a dirt bike. What did you expect?
Well, and insurance is also starting to dabble with this too, because I don't want to speak completely concretely on these facts, but for some amount of time, kind of all COVID treatment was being covered, kind of insurance piled in with we got you, covering you on the pandemic stuff. But now they've reinstated a certain amount of expense on the behalf of the patient if you haven't had the jab, versus still covering kind of all treatment costs for people who have had it. So it's certainly they're starting to explore kind of where are the lines within the medical system that they can discriminate like this, and where is it acceptable, where is it not, know. And I think, obviously your logic makes sense to me. Of you're a smoker, you don't get treated for the lung cancer, you get, all of those things. But I think as far as this, the next step right now, they're saying not jabbed, we're not going to treat you for that particular illness. It's going to go to not jabbed, we're not going to treat you.
Yeah, and it's going to be,
because you're endangering us. You're endangering the jabbed people.
Well,
to
then
even be in this hospital.
Guess what? All AIDS patients are screwed then.
Just that, I mean,
every AIDS patient or Ebola patient or any infectious disease case is screwed.
Yeah. Well, you'd think, but that's not been.
No, because that's not conservative.
The way that this pandemic has, but
because it's predominantly.
and I've seen memes and just kind of the what the hex, with the statement, just isolating out his statement from his Biden's speech yesterday, saying we have to do this so that we can protect the jabbed from the unjabbed. It's like, isn't that
What?
backwards?
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's ridiculous. As you guys all recognize that it's ridiculous.
So, anyways, it's a sad day for freedom, yet again. But I thought this brought us one step closer to the three coasts. Three coasts. And I'm telling you, if you guys don't get here soon, you're not going to be allowed in for a long time.
Not invited.
Buddy of mine thinks that he's just going to wait for the states to declare. Right? One, he thinks that they should be declaring it out in public now. We're going to secede. And like, they're not going to do that. They can't do that. They have to do a lot of other things.
A lot of behind the
a
scenes.
lot of behind the
working on that,
scenes
yeah.
and a lot of secret movements and putting the National Guard and all kinds of things, because the second they say they're succeeding from their country, it's now a national security threat to the old USA and the new USA.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is extremely complex stuff. And every state has nukes, so it's hugely complicated, and it's not going to be taken lightly, and it's going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You got anything to read?
I don't know. I mean, do you want to be putting up comments that are talking about? What line are you wanting to walk on this?
The comments are fine. I just be careful on the words we say.
Okay. All right. So Michelle saying 19 governors and 2 AGs so far standing up against this. That's good. I haven't looked at that list of governors. I hope Tennessee's on there. I would imagine if there's 19 already that would probably be on.
Yeah,
that,
he definitely isn't brave enough to be the first 3.
No, he's going to see
at about 15, he'll jump in.
Yeah. And good. I mean, so I don't know what that means as far as, and everything I've seen has said that nothing about this is constitutional, legal. There's going to be so many court cases about this, so whether these employers over 100, which is the bulk of them, actually I shouldn't say that, but so many of them, do they just not follow through on this and not try to implement it? Is there a timeline on this? Has anyone, like, when is this an immediate effect, or are they giving a couple weeks or months
I have no idea.
Get your act together on this new legislation?
I have no idea. I imagine there's going to be sometime. They can't just start imposing $14,800 fines or whatever that random number is.
Yeah, or testing weekly. I'm hearing fuzzy. Are you? Yeah, I don't know where that came from. So Scott says, I've heard that kind of talk. So this is about the healthcare providers and insurance, talking about the differences in whether you're jabbed or not jabbed. Higher premiums and out-of-pocket pay. Yep.
They're going to find a way to enforce it. That's for sure.
Michelle, well, the CDC and the healthcare systems are already keeping things from us because the CDC has told healthcare systems to drop tests and nobody has. Yeah, I mean, just like the discrepancy in information out there. I see Florida's had over 48,000 deaths from it being the virus.
The bug.
Yeah. But in 2017, we've had over 95,000 just from cancer.
And heart.
Yeah.
I think that's cancer and heart. Yeah, I want to know how many flu deaths have been out there in the world, since that was one of the leading causes of death.
Paul Race, welcome.
Wow.
Welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
You're right, Laura misspoke. There is no legislation. That's something that actually goes through Congress as a legal law.
Retraction. How's the house coming, Paul?
They didn't cover civics in Freeport, Maine.
Whatever.
You didn't get conjunction, junction. What's your function?
I've heard that.
I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. You remember all those Schoolhouse Rock?
I remember that. I wouldn't be able to sing it to you.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So
I stand corrected in the word choice I had.
So I lost my mind this week, and you guys have been listening to me rant and rave about the weak church. For those of you who have been away for a while, I went to a big pastors conference this weekend, and I went there thinking that it was going to be awesome, that it was going to be like a whole house full of Ken Graves and Vody Bachums, and it was going to be awesome. Instead, it was weak sauce incarnate. It was just beta male, sandal wearing, California
Well, I mean,
surfer
it
dudes.
was a kind of a subset sampling of what the church in general is like right now. I'd say you said it was this kind of a 70-30 ratio
Yeah.
within this one branch of Christianity of the church. But I think that's probably representative of if you were going to go around there. I would say 70-30 is probably about right, if not even higher than the actual.
I just thought in that organization it would be a higher ratio, and watching these pre-tribulation rapture pastors just kind of use that as their parachute. Like, hey, we don't have to fight for our country. We don't have to participate in this world. We're just aliens here. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. It's like, fine, go be an alien in, Afghanistan, Syria, go over there, be an alien over there if you don't want to help over here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem over here. Stop freeloading, get out. I just think of if these turds, these cowards,
said lovingly in Jesus terms.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't drop the T word. All right, cowards. We know how God feels about cowards.
There you
go. Had been where they're at right now, if they had been back, been in pastors and leaders during the Revolutionary War, America would still be under Britain rule.
It's an interesting way to look at it. I mean,
the North would have lost
research
there. Yeah.
When you were prepping for your Independence Day sermon, so how convicted those guys were.
Yeah.
And how strong they were in their faith and how much that played a role in the success.
They fasted before battle. They prayed and fasted before battle.
Yeah.
Like nobody does that. They were doing that. They were so biblically sound.
I mean, as you've said with how many times over the last hundreds of years have people in horrible circumstances said, this is it. This is the end. He's coming back,
Yep.
And what if at each of those points, people had the same attitude of, we're just going to wait and let it happen.
Yeah, everyone come up on stage and let's do the rapture dance and jump up in the air.
So it's just, I mean, think about all of the things that we would have lost or that would have had a different outcome of failure if we took that mindset and applied it to each of those moments where people rightly probably, or you can understand why they thought that was the end.
Yeah, it was, nobody must have thought it was the end of days like the Jewish people in the concentration camps during World War II. And guess what?
No kidding.
The Bible's written about them. They're all over it.
Mm-hmm.
America's not in there at all. But, the thing that I laugh at, these Christians who are pre-tribulation rapture, you think that the God of this book, right? If you ever read it from cover to cover, particularly the Old Testament, you think that the God in that book is going to take the most coddled, gentle, gifted, spoiled generation of all time and say, you know what? You guys get to skip all the struggles. You guys are just getting an elevator up because you guys suffered. So, wait, no, you didn't suffer. You guys did no, you didn't do a good job. You know what? I'm just choosing you. You're just so great. You're my children and I love you. So come on up. Whereas every other pacifist in this book, meaning every other non-warrior in this book has a pretty bad time before they go to heaven. Now, the Warrior Kings, on the other hand, they all had pretty good goes.
Mm.
And I just find that kind of interesting that everyone thinks that, that God in his infinite plan is not going to take people who struggled and say, hey, you struggled enough and up and out. He's going to say, you guys are just so good. You guys are great. Come on up.
Yeah.
Like, look, we are the most spoiled. We've never wanted water. Most of us have never wanted food. Most of us sleep warm. We have heat.
Do you think that things could get significantly worse in the worldly sense, not in the tribulation sense, but just in the way that we're tracking, even if it's
of course we
not
should be going
biblical.
into a horrible depression right now. I mean, once China snatches away the global currency from us, we are done. Economy crashes.
So our suffering might be coming in a worldly way.
It may.
That you could still have the pre-trib stuff, but we would still have suffered to get to that point. Not God suffering.
We could have World War III, and it could be absolutely horrific and EMPs, and we're all back in the Stone Age. And yeah, maybe then that would be a way that I could see that. But like for these guys talking about like it could be any minute.
Yeah.
And it's
we don't need to prep for anything.
I'm sorry, but the God, James and everyone else saying you must last until the end, and everyone's saying hold fast until the end. Mm-hmm. Do not deny me in front of man. If you deny me in front of man, I'll deny you in front of my Father. I mean, there's a reason why people are willing to die overseas.
Yeah.
And little children get shot in the stomach 7 times rather than renounce Jesus, or people getting burned alive without renouncing Jesus. That is the level of.
Are you ready to do that?
Yeah. But we think that because we go and we dance at a Christian concert called church, that God's just going to be like, you guys rock. Come on up.
Well,
that's the message.
Certainly. So when you're saying, the people that we know who have passed recently, who we believe are there now, you say, well, I don't know. I don't want to say that they've got it good, but they're where we want to be without going. They had their own personal suffering, but not on the.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's just where you fall on the continuum, but literally the end of the the mass evacuation of the church body, so that the earth goes into complete chaos. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong. This is one of those ones where I hope I'm wrong. I'm just saying that the God in that Bible that I read, that doesn't appear to be his character.
We'll see, one way or the other.
So, I just wanted to go over that just so people understand. And I know that there's an awful lot of Christians that are pre-tribulation rapture, and I'm sure they're smarter than I am.
Well, I think one of the frustrating things that I picked up from you, from kind of your experience at the conference and all of that, and I think this frustration could apply pre or post. It doesn't matter. It was kind of this seeming the apathy, and we're just going to wait for it to happen, or we don't need to continue like really pushing out to save the masses and try to change the culture and reach more people. We've got what we've got. We're good. So I think it's no matter when it happens, pre, post, whatever, the fact that they are content with that is
the fact that they're willing to lose America is the part that really kills me. Right. The fact that these spoiled people who've been born into privilege, who've never, experienced what life is without freedom, are willing to just throw that away because America is not mentioned in the Bible.
Well, I found your comment about culture.
Yeah, it's not. Here's a quote: "It's not our job to make American culture Christian."
For that separation that they can make that mentally is very interesting, and I mean, obviously we haven't as much recently in as direct of a way, but for a while there we were talking so much about kind of winning the culture war and these Christian rap artists and all of this stuff, and how important it is, because by influencing the culture in a positive way, which is in a Christian manner. I mean, so many things.
Part of the
are
reason I'm
good.
sitting here is because of the culture, because patriotic culture was Christian and country music was Christian, and that started me down this path.
Right.
And they're willing to surrender all that because they're so narrow-minded. They're such quitters. I mean, it was just so foolish of them. It's like everyone who bailed on Facebook. You just gave up the nuclear bomb of communication because the rules are hard for us. Yeah, the rules are hard for us. Get over it. You're willingly giving the enemy the most powerful weapon, and you're not going to use it.
Yeah. So it's a shame, and I hopefully they didn't mean it. Or not in that way or something. I mean, I'm just thinking about all of the people that are out there ripe for the discipling in the culture, being influenced by the
they're all
culture.
saying, I don't want to say that they were going to stop discipling. They were all calling for discipling, and they were all calling for Bible only is everyone's priority, and don't worry about anything American. Don't worry about politics, even though politics are the law of the land that we're all forced to live by, which is idiotic to not to not go out there and be a part of that process.
Well,
Jesus wants your politics.
I mean, it's all connected though. So yeah, if you're not going after politics, you're not going after abortion and all of the things that are intermingled in culture and feminism and everything. It's all, we can't separate it out anymore.
Yeah, well, everyone's like, just
connected.
preach the Bible and it'll be fine. Yeah, you should preach the Bible. Yeah, that is your number one thing, is to preach the Bible, but you have to be integrated in society because society is coming for you. Ask Canada, because they can't have churches right now. There was a pastor there from Canada who had American, who went up to Ottawa, Canada to do a church, was thriving, and then they boarded up his church and he had to flee Canada to start to worship again.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are awful quiet.
You are. Did anyone want to call in tonight? Anyone want to offer up some praises from the week? Anything that we can cheers with you? I think that we should strength and honor to Bill.
I'm out. I need to get something. So.
Okay. Do you want some of this?
No, you got.
You've seen how much I've made it.
Carry it. You got it. You got a choice.
So you guys know Bill. And if you've been watching the last couple shows, you might have heard us mention. So he, last week, I think it was, he went to the hospital. He had a series of 3 strokes, and had posted something that we saw being, he posted on Facebook saying, contrary to what a lot of people have heard, I'm not dead. I was in the hospital. I can't kind of see or hear well. So he was really hurting from these. And then we saw a couple of updates that he was tagged in that his daughter had done on Facebook, that he wasn't improving. He went back to the hospital, and then that there was nothing that the hospital could do for him. So he was sent home and trying to seek other treatment. So we just want to pray for him. We have not heard from him. He's not really kind of in the social media space, and especially right now, if he's not able to kind of see and hear and all that stuff. So we just want to pray that he's doing okay, because we don't have a great way of keeping tabs on him. And he is a loyal guy for us. So we love our Bill, and prayers for him and his health.
Yeah, Bill's a super good dude, a true patriot, a true servant of God, and we pray that he's doing well.
So strength and honor to Bill.
To Bill.
Now that you've trained.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Scott, is this new job for your wife a good thing, a happy thing?
Well, he was asking for prayers for it, so I'm glad she found one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I must have missed that prayer request. Okay, so that's a good thing. She got one.
No, he gave it to me, and I
Okay.
prayed for it.
Well, strength and honor to your wife.
Strength and
best
honor.
of
Strength
luck
and
with
honor.
your job.
Strength and honor.
So while I was in that horrible conference, a couple things. One, I got to verify that my pastor is good to go. Pastor Paul Miller of Calvary Chapel Tri-Cities was pissed just like me and felt betrayed. And so his heart's in the right place, and I'm good to hear that. And there were others there, but not many. But the whole time that this was going on, I was just writhing in my seat, and I was a guest, so I wasn't going to be rude, but this is what was playing in my head the whole time. Hear that anvil? All I could hear was that anvil in my head. That anvil in my head just kept pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding, and I could just feel a sword being forged. And it's time to be bold. It's time to be fearless, and it's time, to embrace our true Christian warrior selves, guys. We've been calling for it for a long time, but no one's going to do it for us. I went down there thinking, wow, I'm going to find all these allies and my life's going to be a lot easier. And I went down there and realized, no one's coming to help. It's us or nothing. It's you guys or nothing. And you guys are going to be the only ones where you're at as well. And
I think it's great. And I think it says something, it's a testament to kind of where your mind and your heart is right now, and where you can hear God, in that you didn't come back just raging that it was a waste of time, that you came back inspired and motivated and fired up. Despite it being a disappointment, you found inspiration from it. And so I think that I was really happy to hear that you came back even more motivated. And you'd think that you would have come back more motivated, if it had gone really well. And since it didn't, just kind of bummed. But that really fired you up.
Yeah, well, let me know I was needed, right? And, I had to really sift through this intellectually and emotionally and sit there and say, there's pastors up there with 50 years experience. And, they're up there and they're saying some stuff that I don't agree with at all. And it was a lot of the really senior guys getting up there and saying this garbage. And then I started thinking, well, of course they're saying that garbage. They've been cowards for a long time. On their watch, America devolved to where it is because they've been isolationists. They surrendered the streets and the culture to the left. They surrendered America to the devil. And as long as they were cool in their little section, in the four walls of their church, they were fine. And as long as the dough kept coming in, but we don't want to upset the Democrats in our audience because, they tithe.
And do you think, in the same way that we talk about here in Tennessee, we're finding that it's more the newcomers, kind of the outsiders who've moved to the state that are defending it versus the people who've been here because, that turning up the water temperature, kind of when the frog's in the pot thing, you don't even notice the change over time.
That's probably part of it.
That these pastors that have been there for so long, they might have just found themselves kind of caught up, not noticing the change over time, versus that you have this perspective coming from the outside, fresh set of eyes, person coming from the culture versus being in the church. And so you're seeing it as more of the emergency that it is.
Well, most of these guys were raised within the church. They knew Christ their whole lives, so they have no idea what's going on in secular America.
Right.
They truly have their head in the sand. Michelle, to even mention my name with Greg Locke is an honor. Thank you so much to that.
I will strength and honor because I think that you in your own way.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
The first speaker and the third speaker really pissed me off hardcore because they both went after Greg Locke without naming him, directly quoting him, and I recognized the quote, and they misquoted it. And then the pastor, of course, who was complaining that his church is shrinking and dying, and said when he was beating up Greg Locke, said that he wants to go over there and hand out cards saying, well, if you can't wear a mask in his church, you can come to our church and wear a mask. And I felt like standing up and saying, they will never, ever, ever come to your church. You want to know why? Because people follow courage. They don't follow cowards. Now, I don't agree with Greg Locke telling people that you can't wear masks coming in the door. I don't agree with it at all, not in the slightest point. But he is a champion of God, and he is fearless, and that's his call to make, right? And he doesn't say that you can't wear masks and be a Christian. He says he doesn't want them in the building because there's a culture of faith in his church, not a culture of fear. Yeah. Now, I don't agree with that, right? I don't agree. I think that every church should leave it up to every individual to make that call themselves, and they shouldn't be putting peer pressure on anyone. We've seen that in person. And I think that they should all, when the weather's nice, they should be doing outdoor services.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just for that.
Yeah.
But I'm a risk manager. If I can take somebody from, from a low percentage to a super low percentage, I'll do it. Right. But then, but I'm not going to attack him for that.
Right.
We had another pastor come up and from Tennessee, a state where you are not required to wear masks in church, order his congregation to wear masks because he had some people that wouldn't come because of that. And it's like, well, how many did you lose because of your stupidity?
Yeah. That's what it kind of boils down to, doesn't it, Misty C? How can you call yourself a Catholic or a Christian and vote for someone that stands for everything our faith is against?
You can't. I'm fairly certain, as certain as I can be, that you're going to hell for doing it because you're not repenting for the babies you're killing. You're not repenting for the attack on all of God's institutions. If you repented for being a Democrat and voting for that and enabling that, you would be fine, but they don't. It's unrepented sin.
I think some people separate themselves out saying, well, I wouldn't personally get an abortion, but I don't want to stop other women. I want
to stop babies from being murdered.
So I think that is that a line on, is it personal sin or supporting the sin of others that becomes your own sin?
Enabling sin is the problem. If we vote, we make it illegal, and they go out and they do it, we did everything we reasonably could do. Right? If we do not do that, then we are facilitating it. Our tax dollars go to it. Our infrastructure pays for it. And
I'm trying to think of whether there are any other examples of, if you enable someone else's sin, do you then take on that sin yourself?
If we voted for gay marriage, that would be another point. We'd be sanctioning behavior outside of God's will. Okay. Same exact thing.
Right.
It's right up there. That's sodomy is right there.
Right.
Boop. Right there.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you, and I'm just trying to see is there any articulation about kind of the whole that
You got that right, Bark Gator.
Remove the plank from your eye or whatever, however that goes before take care of yourself and
there's a difference there. I'm a sinner. All right, let's say that my neighbor's a homosexual. I'm judging that sin to be what it is. I'm not going to condone it. I'm going to be loving towards them. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be whatever. I'm going to try to share the gospel with them, let them know what's going on, what's there. But when I go to the ballot box, I'm going to vote against their ability to do that every time. right? That's the difference. So even though I'm being friendly and loving towards them, and it's between them and God, if I have some say,
Right.
right? In the Bible, they didn't have democracy,
Right.
right? You had kings and period, despots, dictators, emperors. So it's completely different.
So it'd be like supplying the forum or kind of.
Yeah, giving drug addicts drugs.
Mm-hmm. It's their sin, but you're enabling it, so therefore you're sinning as well.
Exactly. Thank you, Michelle. So, I mean, you used to be, love is love.
Yeah.
You want to talk us through that? Looking back, how you can see how you were misled, or
yeah.
were you not misled? I mean,
I called myself a liberal before. I was never uber into politics, but I took the liberal mindset on things as a default. And I could not understand when my dad did not legally want to support gay marriage. In like the love is love, for those people who are choosing that lifestyle, having all of the legal benefits that come from a legally bound marriage versus just letting them have their own thing, but not, so that's how I used to look at it. As I didn't have a problem with it. I thought that they would be, that they deserve to have the same legal coverage as a male and female marriage. I've changed my mindset and my thinking on it, but that's how I used to think through it.
I know you have. I'm just, I'm trying to think if there were times where I'm like, I don't care who you sleep with as long as they are willing participants of an appropriate age, whatever was my whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see it completely different. You're certainly free to do that, but you are certainly free to be judged by God for your behavior.
Right.
Right. And that's, that's universally true. And the thing that I saw was the corruption of it. I would see it spread through a family like wildfire.
Yeah, it's kind of the more intangibles. And I think for people who don't think it's a problem, they're like, okay, whatever. And they also think they're born that way and all of that stuff. So, and I watched, it was an interview, like a news interview or a show or something with, I think it was John MacArthur. And so he was on there from the biblical pastoral perspective. And then there was an actor, a gay actor or something, as kind of his debate partner or whatever. And they were talking about gay marriage. And, John was, talking kind of down the line as far as why we shouldn't allow it in the country biblically. And the other guy was saying, more kind of the separation of church and state. So why are we allowing? It was his argument was mostly in the why shouldn't people who are choosing that lifestyle, whether you want to believe it's biblical or not, why
State
should
sanctioning.
we be preventing them from benefiting from the legal?
Because it's our tax dollars sanctioning it.
Yeah,
sanctioning sin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem of it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a difference between your sin over there, my sin over here,
Mm-hmm.
and a difference between me having to pay for your sin.
Right.
Right. And that's where that problem breaks down.
I can certainly understand the kind of the perversion of using the word marriage when marriage is a biblical understanding of man and woman and everything that comes with that. And so kind of as I was transitioning out of the kind of full support for it is there a way to give them the same legal benefits but not calling it a marriage?
Yeah, they called it a legal union.
Yeah.
And
but they wanted it's the equity and everything. So
yeah.
they want to be able to use the term as well, but still it would be supporting it financially via state.
Yeah, I don't think you can be a Judeo-Christian country and sanction that.
Right.
I want to get to Bark Eater's comment here because I think he's got something here, but I want to disagree and push back on a little bit. The problem is that in today America, there is no ballot box anymore. No way to cast a legitimate vote in 2022 will be more of the same. No ID, mail everything in, et cetera, et cetera. Mark, there's a lot of red states that have been pushing legislation and approving legislation and signing into law um, election reform to protect against that for 2022. I don't know. Like we'll know if 2022 is a landslide for the red, then we might have just saved the republic. Yes, 2020 was lost. Yes, Hillary Clinton will never see justice. Obama will never see justice. Biden will never see justice. We'll never do. We won't be able to look backwards. It's like JFK all over again, right? We're not going to dig. We're not going to find. We're not going to do anything. We're going to do commissions and hearings and tie up space until the next thing comes along, and and so be it, right? So so I think there's a chance, but if we do not have a big red wave, when obviously the whole world knows that we should, right? It's historically it's a guarantee. Like the fact that he's doing such a ridiculously terrible job, the fact that he's overreaching and his poll numbers suck and everything else is going on, it should be a bloodbath. If it's not, then that's when we need to split into three coasts: the East Coast, the West Coast, and the South Coast. And I hope that you're in the South Coast with us because the other two places are not going to be pleasant. Mm-hmm. They're going to be Sodom and Gomorrah.
The problem never was the red states. It's the swing states and closely contested states that are close enough to steal.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, Darrell, good to see you.
Strength and honor to you, my friend.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Well, I never thought Georgia would go blue, Bark Eater. I never thought Georgia was a swing state. Mm-hmm. So, I don't. We gave up the schools 70 years ago, guys. 70 years ago. We're not going to win battleground states anytime soon. Mm-hmm. You have all these socialists that have been educated for the past 70 years while we were all too busy doing our own thing and trusting your kid to be mentored by the teachers unions of America and trusting your kid to be mentored by your wokest pastors and priests and everyone else out there and your lame coaches and everyone other than us, right? Everyone other than the parents. That's the problem we have, which is why the culture war is so important. If we made patriotism cool again, and we made, you can flip the culture on a dime, on a hit song, on a movie, on a TV series, on a book series. You can flip the culture is flippable, and you can do it almost instantly. Versus politically, the spectrum is a lot harder to change with red and blue. So that's something to think. My wife and I are fighting just to keep our careers. Yeah, I get you, brother. A lot of people. But the days of staying in a blue state or a close state are done. Get down to the states that all touch one another, that are all red, because they're going to be the southern states. That's the way it's going to be. Now, maybe
southern and the middle.
Southern, right, the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you get Democrats in office, and you can see what the teachers unions are doing. And you can still see stupid parents up north. I got family members who are still sing their praises, and they don't realize they could care less about their kids. They're just sitting home getting a paycheck, and they don't care.
You're talking about the people who are running the union?
Yep.
Yeah.
They
showed some email communication between the White House and the teachers unions kind of regarding the changing of the CDC and backing off mandates and things like that. And immediately the teachers unions were up in arms.
Telling the CDC to change.
And kind of were directly involved with where the school status is now as far as masks and all of that stuff again.
Yeah. Well, your retraction that you were talking about for the post office, the Epic Times just published that. That's true.
And I saw that. I'm just wondering if they're behind it, or
They usually vary. I've never seen them have to retract the story ever.
yeah. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that, because I mean, we don't want to say anything definitively. I've seen multiple sources, that being the latest, saying that
The post
the
office,
USPS
the
gets an
dirty
exemption
post
from it, but
office,
then I've seen
the
some,
ones who won the election for the Democrats last time around, the ones who threw out all the red votes and brought in the baskets of the other ones and everything else. They are exempted from getting the COVID vaccine as federal employees.
So,
Imagine that.
we're monitoring
We the
that to see if
people.
that is
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a dark time, man. My northern brothers and sisters, my east and west coasters, telling you time is short.
Yeah,
Get
I mean, there's
out.
the stepping up of language from him, as far as kind of they're running out of patience with us and all of this stuff. It's like, okay, so what's
Guys, we got
next?
3 more years of him minimum.
Him or the administration?
I'm just saying, like, you think he hasn't even ramped up yet. He hasn't even hit his stride
Raise your
yet.
hand if you think that he's going to be in office for the next 3 years.
Who's it going to be? Nancy? Kamala can't. She's worse than he is. The next in line is her.
Right. So you think that they're going to try to keep him in at all costs?
I think I would actually prefer Nancy Pelosi because at least she's smart.
She's very calculating.
I mean, she's brutal and she's smart. I mean, if I had to choose those 3 people, the other 2 are puppets. You'd at least have the puppet master, and you'd get to see what is really going on.
I mean, seeing the decline in the whatever, as far as how he's managed the last 6 months, seeing him in there for the next 3 years, I'm not sure many people.
Yeah, have you guys seen this? Speaking of Romania and the Eastern Bloc, have you guys seen the calculated move by Putin to soften his image? It's all over TikTok and it's all over Instagram.
I haven't seen specifics.
Him doing really kind stuff with animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just really short bombs of him being kind or coaching a young kid or doing something, humanizing him. And they are, showing that he's, they're trying to put micro fractures in that wall, that he's this evil dictator, by showing these little truth bombs in little 15-second snippets.
What do you think the end game is there?
Well, for him to take more of a leadership on the center stage.
And so who do you think is doing who is masterminding this?
He is. Russia is. This is not a China thing. I think that Russia and China are both our enemies, but we have way more in common with Russia than we do with China. Right? Russia is nowhere near the threat that China is. Right. China and Russia border each other. Right? So, I honestly think that, if like all the stuff that Putin's been getting blamed for and all that stuff, I think it was always China. I think that
none of the Russia stuff is ever true.
Yeah, exactly. And it was all designed by China to separate us and Russia. Right? Because they don't want us aligning because Russia's on their doorstep. Right. Imagine if we were allies with Russia, how dangerous that would be to China.
Yep.
Right? We would have an ally that touches them.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Looking through all these comments that came in here.
I believe the vacuum of leadership worldwide is to pave the way for the Antichrist. That could be true. That's above my pay grade. All the Revelation stuff. You guys who watched Biblical Life Support on Wednesday know that Joel does not, who was here, he's here every other week, was saying that he doesn't believe that Revelation is for us. It was for them. And that all that stuff was in the past.
Okay.
So, I know he's in the minority of that. That's something worth entertaining. I think China controls us. China does control us, we the people.
Yeah.
China 100% controls Biden, controls us, controls the world. They control everyone. And they did it by using corporate greed against our corporations. Our corporations sold us out. That's how they did it. They didn't do it by firing bullets. They didn't do it by firing shots. They did it with greed. They bought all the capitalists on the planet Earth and made them rich with their slave labor while they got their talons in them, and then took away all of our infrastructure and put it over there.
Hi,
So we're 100% addicted to them.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So we can't even make toilet paper or gloves or microchips or anything. We're 100% dependent on them, or antibiotics or medicine, right? They literally control all that. We were fools for letting it happen. And our greed let it happen. Go ahead and read, Danae.
I was just going to say, just want to say tonight that what I saw of Chris's service looked beautiful. So you guys put together a really touching service for him, and I'm sure he appreciated it. So I hope that the turnout, we couldn't see kind of the audience, the people who turned up for that, but I hope that you guys got a lot of support on the ground there for you guys.
We love you, Danae. We know you need some time to heal. We'll be here when you want to come back. Just know that you're in our thoughts and prayers.
All right, let's see. Misty C, have you seen God's name appearing in the wall? They name that the Jewish are not allowed to use.
No, I haven't seen that. Yeah, Darrell.
Jesus is coming. We have to be ready.
I'm one of the mind that talk to you soon, Danae.
Bye, Danae.
God bless you. I'm of the mind that I don't want Jesus to come back soon. I want as much time as he'll give us to save as many lives, save as many souls as possible. Mm-hmm. Remember, guys, we're on a POW mission. The day Jesus canks the POW mission, they're all doomed. And that's when he comes back. So between now and then, we need to kick and scratch for every life, that every soul that we can save, and for as much time to get more. One more, please. One more, please. One more. That's what we need to be doing. If we become like the other church, like the churches that I'm disgusted with, well, then we say Jesus is coming soon, so let's party and let's just coast in. Mm.
Yeah, he was on there up at the cross, giving everyone his 2 cents on things.
I was shouting and screaming like a lunatic up there. I kind of burned out on that. I'm tired this evening. It's been a long week.
We got to get through tomorrow. Got a late night and an early morning.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you wanted to cover tonight, Lauren? I know we had to keep tonight a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I think that's.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you.
Is the best place to broadcast from.
Yeah,
that's where Pastor Perry is going to be. The Minister of Defense is going to be doing his sermons as much as possible.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there, and every time I'm up there, I'm like, man, the view beyond the cross. I don't know anyone's ever going to listen to me. They're going to be like, wow.
You had to turn around this morning though because of the sun glare. Is that right?
Yeah, because it was raising in the east. I was trying to do it with that backdrop, and it was just washing me out because the sun was directly in my
Yeah.
the
so
camera.
You'll evening services
Yep.
up there. You'll get the mountain view. All right. So this looks like it's a multi-parter.
Okay. Send it,
So
Misty.
leading off with this verse is clearly describing being able to see God's name in Israel in the end of days. Rabbi Berger said, explaining that this vision was also described by the prophet Isaiah. We'll see what's next.
Doo, 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 doo.
Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you, Darrell.
Doing our best to do our little piece.
Make sure you guys like this, please, and share, like.
Let's see what we got.
And then we'll see this verse that she's going to put out. And then
Oh, we already have a thumbs down. Who's the hater?
we always have one hater.
They didn't waste any time tonight.
Yep.
God bless you, hater.
Yep.
We'll be praying for you.
Yep. Always got a hater.
Oh, man. But there's 18 people on YouTube and we have 12 thumbs up. So
give us some more
whoever
thumbs up,
else
please.
is out there who hasn't done it yet, please help us out.
All right, Lauren, go ahead and pray us out so we can get back to work for this early morning.
All right. Missy, see if you put it up there, we'll read it afterwards. All right. Boo to the hater. Strength and honor to that.
Yeah.
Boo to the hater.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this evening of fellowship and our loyal followers, brothers and sisters who joined us tonight, and to the hater. We need all types, and we hope that we can reach that one person and change their thumbs down to a thumbs up someday, and we will keep doing our best to reach them, Lord, whoever they are. We hope that you touch them as well. And Lord, thank you for the many blessings that we have in our life, for moments of peace and serenity with our family and our friends, for the sun coming up today and the breath in our lungs. We pray that we just stop and are grateful for those small things that go by unnoticed on a daily basis. Lord, you woke us up today, and we are appreciative for that. And Lord, I just pray that you are with everyone who needs you in their life this week. With Bill, whatever his health status is tonight, I pray that you are with him. I know that he is keeping his eyes on you throughout this health trial, and we just rally around him in support and prayers for his recovery. He is such a faithful follower of yours and a son of yours, and we would love him to be with us longer. So we pray that you can bring him some healing in his struggles right now, Lord. And we can just continue to pray for the state of our nation. We are concerned, as we always are, and our concern is deepening after what happened this week and personal experiences with disappointments and people that we should be looking up to in the church, and realizing that we are actually a little bit more on our own than we thought, Lord. But we know that we have you. And so no matter what is going on around us in the world, Lord, I pray that we can all stand strong in our faith and keeping our eyes on what matters. And so please just continue to encourage those of us who are fighting the good fight to keep it up, and that no matter what trials and tribulations that we face personally and as a country, that we will stand strong in our faith and our courage. And Lord, I just close with a blessing of safety and health for everyone through the weekend. And I also pray that with our self-defense course for these ladies tomorrow morning, that we are able to teach them something that might save a life someday, Lord. And I pray that we say exactly what they need to hear to encourage and empower them with their own safety. And with that, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, everyone. We love you guys, and we will talk to you later. She never got that verse up.
Oh, well. Next time.
All right. 5. We'll give her 5 more seconds. 4.
I think she would have done it.
2.
Hit the
All right,
outro.
everyone.
Good night, guys.
Outro, everyone. Bye.